What's up, YouTube? Welcome to My Cowboys Family. Make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. And of course, we have to shout out the people who help make MCF happen here on the regular. Thank you so much to our sponsor of the week, David S.
Ooh, much love to David S. First time ever here.
That's right.
New family member.
And not just representing as the sponsor of the week, he went for that 1-2 punch. He's also repping it as the Cash App King.
Complete takeover by the man.
Much love to you once again, David.
S.
Although the man, Mark Hovsepian, mahalo to him, still representing as a stream boss with 90 points.
Very true, yes. He's
D-Law
up there.
style.
That's like 12 weeks in a row for Mark Hovsepian on that stream boss.
Quite the streak.
So appreciate all you guys repping it as we go into this new week. And again, this is you're watching this here on a premiere, so you can still drop the love through there. We have, of course, a new week, so there's no love dropped so far. It's an open board, baby.
That's right.
And as big shout outs to Mark Hovsepian, the stream boss, David S. as our Cash App King, and of course, he's also the sponsor of the week. What's some other ways people can jump on into this Cowboys family? It's memberships we got, of course, and we got super chats.
And shout out to, of
which
course,
you can do
our
now if you want.
Star members, Skeptical Fan LC and Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself.
And speaking of Skeptical Fan, he's also the gifting membership leader right now when it comes to the monthly numbers. 15 for him. Scorpio currently has one. I don't know if it's happening right now in the chat. It could happen at any premiere or live stream, so much love to you guys for that new feature, making it happen. But
yes, besides the super chat and the membership, donations, right? You still have the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but certainly not least, you have the Streamlabs link, of course, which lets you drop the love, just like a super chat would. It shows up right here on the screen.
Yep. So we got that, guys, and now we're going to open this up. Shout out to everybody in the house tonight here.
Thank you for hanging with us here.
Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell as we said in the intro. And now let's get into this thing when it comes to today's news, info, and updates on our very own Dallas Cowboys. So, welcome to the Cowboys chat room here. And again, this is a new thing here. Cowboys in 30 or so, right? We're going to do these once in a while to make sure we get some of the filler news, which is very important to our Dallas Cowboys and all the NFL fans out there. So, first and foremost, OTAs, guys. Phase 3 has begun. Yes, lock it in, loaded. They're on the field now. Rookies and had the rookie mini camp. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, the vets and the rookies together doing just acclimating, getting back into the hang of things. And then now, not just together, but now they're in the phase 3 portion of things, where now they're together and working on scheme, doing 7-on-7s, group activities, a little different now. And the coaches can now lay down their scheme for the players to kind of, absorb this, learn it, and take it.
Yeah, like the basic foundation stuff has kind of already been gone over. Now it's time to get into a little bit more of the nitty-gritty of what we're actually trying to do.
As a coaching staff and scheme-wise, this is what this next phase kind of getting the installs done on the offensive scheme, defensive scheme stuff. So very important time here for McCarthy to get his plan in place with the players. And, vets and rookies alike, same thing on the other side when it comes to the defense, and Dan Quinn getting the same thing done on that side of things with the scheme. So, off-season calendar, again, rolling forward, we're getting closer to Memorial Day weekend. Today started the beginning of the voluntary OTAs, organized team activities. And there was 20 teams that participated in this, kicked it off today. The first 20 teams, I'm not going to name them all because the only one that matters is the one you see on my shirt and on the wife's shirt here. That star for everything, the Dallas Cowboys, who did kick off their official phase 3 of the OTAs today. And again, voluntary OTAs. This is important, though. This is where the installation from the coaching staff, is set forth here for the players. And again, guys, remember, Micah Parsons has been doing his own training off-site, but now he's back for this. This is very important. Every player is there, and for the coaches to get this stuff put in there. So phase 3 of this again.
We love to see all the player representation actually there in.
Yeah, they were kind of almost all there last couple of weeks. They're all there now. Phase 3 of this NFL. Again, they see this is in the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement this offseason. The offseason workout regimen allows teams to get on the field for non-contact practices. This is important. Now, I had thought that maybe you might be able to get the helmets on. Not necessarily, guys. Again, no padding except for knee and elbow pads, and they also are going to allow helmets. but no shoulder pads, nothing like that. No hitting going on these basically these next 4 weeks. This phase 3 lasts 4 weeks.
So glorified walkthroughs, basically.
It's a glorified training camp. I would say a little bit a walkthrough style training camp in a way. Almost a pre-training camp is this voluntary, but most of our guys, if not all our guys, are there. OTA, off-season workout program. We were in a program, in the working out side of things, but now we're in the workout regimen portion of things where you can get in there with the coaches. That's so important. That's the biggest part of this whole thing. Now teams, you can't hit, no live contact. No pads, again, except for knee and elbow pads. But teams are now permitted to do 7-on-7 drills, which now you're implementing scheme against each other, right? Offensive and defensive scheme. Yeah. Offensive scheme, defensive scheme. You got 9-on-7s, LVE with a 7-on-7 mindset. But 9-on-7s are going to be out there as well, which, throws in maybe tight ends, throws in maybe a couple extra defenders on some of those 9-on-7s. And actually, there's the defenders on the 9-on-7s. And then 11-on-11 drills. Full team drills, offense full, defense full. Still going to be foundational stuff. Get this in place, guys. It's not like the whole game plan is bestowed on them. But it is the foundation of what they're going to get in training camp. And, again, a lot of the plays they're working on to figure out, they're going to trim off some of the fat as they get into training camp and beyond. But this is where it all starts when it comes to that merging of scheme and player knowledge of the scheme. So, players are going to be running around in shorts, all right? OTAs still mark the next step in this offseason program, in the OTAs, where players gearing up and acclimate to this new season. Every portion, every step, the last, the rookie week, 2 weeks ago, this past week, with the veterans there and the rookies, this is all just a process of getting acclimated, so no injuries, but also, that's kind of been the workout side of things, but now we're in the real, this is the beginnings of the
nitty-gritty.
Yeah, well, the nitty, as you said, yes, but this is more of the workout side this is past the workout side, more of the scheming side of things, where you start your game planning for the season. And that's without question highly important. Now, teams that have new coaches or new schemes do their installs this week. And you can look at the offensive side of McCarthy. That is a new install. Now, we do have Brian Schottenheimer. That does count as a new player, a new coordinator on the offensive side of the ball. So no matter what, our offense is on that field and already starting to install, getting coached on the schemes here, ramping these installs this week. And we will find out about some of these rookies, Deuce Vaughn or Luke Schoonmaker or other these guys on the offensive side of the rookie, the rookie core here, rookie crop, some of the undrafted guys as well. We'll be seeing how these rookies, some of these free agents also that are new to the team, like Brandon Cooks. I'm talking on offense here. How do they fit in on our offensive side of the ball for the Cowboys? Mm-hmm. And on defense, of course, the same thing with the rookies, the Stephon Gilmore's, right? So we'll see how this whole thing works as these next couple of weeks, these next 4 weeks go on these OTAs, this last phase 3 portion, before we get to the mandatory minicamp portion of things, and then a little break, 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, and then training camp kicks off at the end of July. Now, again, just one last reminder, I want to make sure people are going to get news, like I say, news this and breaking news that. Still remember, guys, even though we know most, 98, 99% of our Cowboy players are there might be one or two that aren't. All right, so remember, OTAs still remain voluntary. No fines, nothing like this, right? Yeah. So you can see other teams are going to have guys not showing up to these things because they're holding out for other reasons. So OTAs remain voluntary. No fines, no issues with, no things there. Again, whatever's written in your contract is written in your contract. We know the Cowboys, they take money back from you. Right? Isn't that how it goes? Yeah, they take money away from you if you don't show up to these things. That's 99% of the Cowboy I think all the Cowboy contracts are written that way. So no one's leaving. No one's going to not come to this voluntary minicamp.
I think even Dak doesn't have an exception to that. So.
I agree. So until mandatory minicamp, which is in about 4 weeks, this is where you're going to see some of the ramping up for that and the foundation of the schematic installations on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, from the coaches and the players. So I'm excited to see what happens. Now the Cowboys, of course, hit the practice field. They didn't hit the practice field today, though. I do want to make that clear. They were kind of just started today, so they're getting some meetings going on at the Star. They're doing some film work, I'm sure, right? So maybe some orientation, some more orientation stuff going on. Who knows? But tomorrow, they officially hit the field. So look for new fit.
Sounds like today was a prep work day.
Yeah, you're gonna see them. You're gonna see photos. You're gonna see maybe a little video. If there's anything out there we can bring to you, we will try to do that on clips, on videos, whatever it may be. So check that out for tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, nothing went down today out in the field, out in the on the practice field at all. So no live contact. Once again, there's not gonna be anybody hitting each other. Remember that, guys. But coaches can and will oversee those 7-on-7 drills, 9-on-7 drills, and those 11-on-11 drills for the first time all off season. So again, as I've stressed about 20 times in this last 10 minutes, very important. What we're starting here in this phase 3 is extremely important to what we want to do, not just for health reasons like we did the first couple of phases, but now we're talking about the actual season and implementation of the scheme. This is major. So I think we've kind of made it. We talked about that enough.
Yeah,
I think, kicking it off.
Touched all the bases there.
Yeah, so next quick thing, guys. We're doing this different tonight. We start with Cowboy-centric stuff, and we're going to go more general, I think, NFL. But
Cowboy adjacent, as I like
it's all Cowboy adjacent, right? But not this one. Free agent quarterback Josh Johnson. You might say, he's been around the league, not the Cowboys. He's played for a record 14 NFL teams. He's also played on another like XFL squads. Yeah. And right now he's returning once again to the NFL, to the Baltimore Ravens for the third time to the Ravens. Third time to the Ravens. He's coming back to them in his career. He was with the Ravens in 2016, 2021, and now is, of course, technically, temporarily, I guess, he has to make the team. But right now he's back on their roster in 2023. So, interesting situation. And again, he's been with 14 different NFL teams. Crazy. Now, let's talk about the main topic, which you see on our thumbnail tonight, which is it's really mainly what went down today at these NFL meetings. So all the owners gathered at Minnesota for these NFL meetings, the spring meetings, and also coaches from the accelerator program were there as well. And that's important because we know we have Adam Dirty, it's our defensive line coach there, under Dan Quinn.
And Joe Witt Jr. is also there.
Joe Witt Jr. is our defensive backs coach, passing game coordinator. Both these guys are there. In fact, our veteran secondary coach, Joe Witt Jr., talked about some perspective about his job there, how they can provide new things, and the good coming in with this accelerator program, where he was kind of referencing the fact that it gives you a chance as maybe somebody who wouldn't have that access to get the foot in the door. He was kind of saying, we sit down with these guys, with these owners, and we can have Sunday breakfast with them. It's a little more meaningful and impactful for the owner side, for them, and there's a connection that's made.
It sounds like it's doing exactly what they intended as far as helping some of these, coaches build relationships with some of the owners or some of the kind of higher up staff when it comes to within the NFL, the types of relationships that, let's be honest, in a league that is very nepotism heavy, you got to know somebody to try to get the job. So these types of things really do help, and I really do hope in the future that this can help continue to expand coaches' careers and stuff.
It's not the answer across the board, obviously. It's not perfect, but it definitely helps somewhat,
I think it's a step
right?
in the right direction.
For sure. And again, Joe Witt also talked about how defensive-minded coaches could best serve the overall well-being of a team sometimes, where maybe, you look at the offense is
flashy, we know it, but, coaches like Dan Quinn, have obviously been making a name for themselves as far as leading with a defensive-first mindset.
And you see him kind of teetering to being a head coach on our team again here, defensive-minded head coach. Joe Witt Jr. is looking for that as a goal one day for himself, a head coach in the NFL with a defensive mind, who, of course, coming from the defensive backs under Dan Quinn, with Atlanta, Green Bay, connections to McCarthy and Quinn. So across the board, he's got, he's far and ahead in front of everybody on our team as far as in this program. Even Adam Dirty, he's in front of everybody on that path to being a head coach one day. So we know he'll be a defensive coordinator very soon, if not next year.
We love to see it.
Yeah, so that's great, fantastic.
As sad as we are to maybe have to consider seeing him go, because obviously he's being promoted.
Right, the only way that changes is if McCarthy's fired, Quinn becomes head coach, then you can bet your 2 cents, guys, that you'll see defensive coordinator be Joe Witt Jr. for the Dallas Cowboys next year, if that's the way it goes. Hopefully we win a Super Bowl, and then we'll talk about that later. Steelers owner Art Rooney on the coaching accelerator. Remember, they started this is the Rooney Rule. So Steelers owner Art Rooney said, quote, "One of the priorities of the league is to develop our diverse candidates throughout the league." And he said there's still more progress in some areas that are needed than other areas. But this is helping.
They're one of the, very few teams that still has, a minority head coach.
Yeah, I mean
Steelers.
Yeah, no, I no, I'm saying there's only a couple out there, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
right.
just obviously they put their money where their mouth is the last few years and more.
Yeah, I mean he's been a great coach. To me, it's not even about race. It's about the fact that he is above and beyond a great coach, right? He deserves it.
Course.
So again, in Minneapolis, it was not just the accelerator program going down; it was some rules going down, some rules being made. Now, again, you see the thumbnail. We got Joe Witt Jr. on there next to Jerry. We got to talk about other things here as Jerry pops on our screen because Jerry arrived 18 minutes before the league meeting began.
Cutting it close there.
Yeah, Jerry's cutting it close. But it was Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and their general counsel, Jason Cohen, also in attendance. So he brought his whole crew there. Now, among the issues that before they even walked in,
I guess if I'm Jerry, I'm rolling with the lawyer in my back pocket too.
You remember the last meeting they had an argument. There was a lot of stuff going on around about that. Maybe that's why he's got his legal representation in the house. I don't know.
Or maybe whatever things needed to be discussed involved more, a legal or technical language. So maybe the lawyer is there to help sort out. We're going to
talk about Dan Snyder in a little bit because that could
maybe that has something to do with it.
So again, some of the issues was Dan Snyder and the Commanders, the selling of that team. A new rule that they want to try to implement that's going to place all kickoff fair catches at the 25-yard line. Thursday night football games being flexed. These are the things that were discussed today. The location of the draft for 2025, the location of Super Bowl 60. So there was one thing though that we knew before almost this thing started that was not passing, and that was the Eagles' proposal, which was to create, and it's very common. We've known about this proposal for years. The 4th and 20 alternative to the onside kick. Instead of the onside kick, you do a 4th and 20 from your own, 25-yard line, and if you don't make it, the other team gets the ball right there. Game's over, right? So some teams want to go for that 4th and 20, and some teams rather just go to the onside kick. That's the option there. But that was going to be discussed. That does
seem a little too radical for the NFL right now.
That was going to be discussed. Jerry Jones and company said no. For the 4th consecutive year, proposed alternative for that onside kick has stalled. No vote is expected at all. So there's not even any momentum for that from the owner's side. So there's a long-running debate will continue for another year, I'm sure. And I'm sure the Eagles will bring it back up again. So
I wonder why they're so insistent on not changing that. Why they seem to be doubling down on that. I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, no, I don't really have any feelings very strongly.
I just think there's enough push, and maybe there's 4 or 5 teams that are pushing hard for that, and the rest are just it's not going to happen. So it just keeps getting proposed and never getting to the voting table. Now, owners, they voting here, right? And there's all these different rule changes. Jerry Jones on the screen. Well, you might have to have a minority owner, Tom Brady. The minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, not the main guy.
You want the slice of pie.
One of the slices there. Tom Brady has now officially finalized a deal to buy the minority stake in the Raiders from Mark Davis. This is subject to NFL approval. That's why it's important to discuss that now because, again, if he's approved as minority owner of the Raiders, he would also have to be unanimously approved by the actual league owners themselves if he wanted to ever return as a player. If he decided to resume his quarterback career. We always talk about him. You never know he's going to come back. He can't do that if he's a minority shareholder of a team. So, again, no owners are going to say you can jump. Look, first and foremost, that probably will never, ever happen. No, he's never going to go back after purchasing a team, but there's no way the owners are going to go for that when he can now dictate who wins and loses. He's an owner of the Raiders, but is he playing for the Raiders?
It's similar to why you shouldn't gamble and bet on NFL teams just because you have a stakes in the game that you're actively gambling on, so you could obviously possibly affect the outcome, and that's a no.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing here. It's more about the fact that Tom Brady's retired. So I think it's more about he's going to keep that that deal he has with Fox, doing the broadcasting stuff.
We keep hearing different
10-year deal and all those $500 million. I don't know how much he's getting paid, but he might be backing out of that, and he's going into this Las Vegas Raider buy-in deal here. So again, but he hasn't got approved yet. They will have to, vote on this in the future to see if
expect some updates in the future once we hear exactly how that goes down.
Now, of course, Jerry Jones in the NFC East, looking right across the NFC East to the Washington Commanders and what's going on with them in that purchase, right? The NFL today, the Finance Committee, they still have to review the Commanders' purchase and sale agreement before it goes to the owner's vote. And I actually discussed, everyone was saying this was a done deal, but I said it is pretty much done. but it has to be voted on, and it was not going to have time to get in time by the spring meeting. So, yes, once again, MCF, if you've been listening, you should know that this was not going to happen by this point today, even though there was a lot of people were hyping that up, the news, ESPN, all hyping this up. Guys, there's no vote on the Commanders' sale right now and the approval. The team owners will get an update today or tomorrow on an effort that the league is trying to say, hey, we want to complete this as fast as we possibly can and with due process. But, of course, it's also saying we can't do this now.
Yeah.
This means we got to go through all the checks, all the legal stuff, and in due process, in due time, we'll get this to you.
Look, they're not exactly trying to lease a car here, right?
Exactly,
they're trying to buy a multi-billion-dollar sports franchise. So, with that in mind, you do have to be a little bit more careful when it comes to dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And, especially because of the delicate nature of the sale and the reason why it's being sold, and let's be honest, do you think Jerry Jones has a slightly more vested interest in how exactly the sale of another NFC East rival goes down? So all of these reasons, you can understand why it's not being rushed. And I'm not really surprised that it's taking this long. So just because we're still at the point where the contract's being looked over doesn't mean, like you said, that the sale is somehow going to fall through. Just a lot more contract needs to be made.
Just a little more time than initially reported on, right? Which we didn't. We kind of said it's going to take some time, for this thing to go through the process. Anyways, dotting I's and crossing T's. Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, said his goal is to complete this Commander sale before the season begins.
All right.
But he said that this bid does not currently comply with the NFL rules, according to him. He said, quote, look, you have to stay within the guidelines that we... Hold on, guys. We have to... He said, look, we have to stay within the guidelines we gave you. They were clear from the beginning. So again, it sounds like
exactly what guidelines are being
sounds like Harris. Yeah, sounds like Jeff Harris. Yeah, sounds like Jeff Harris didn't follow everything perfectly. Jim Irsay again, not very happy with something in that deal. He emphasized that there's going to be challenges in getting this deal approved with the Commanders, but and that work still remains on this deal. But Jerry Jones spoke. He didn't speak much, but he spoke about this right after he left, and they asked him about Daniel Snyder, the Commanders selling the team. Has that been approved? But Jerry Jones expects that the Harris purchase will get done, even with the things that are challenges right now. He said, quote, these are outstandingly qualified owners. That always rules the day on getting it cleared with the NFL. And he also continued getting more details about the Commanders sale. Quote, it sounds like a long process, but this is a significant thing for everybody involved, certainly the fans of Washington. So I think doing it right and having people of this caliber that are involved is worth the wait. Now, he's asked a lot of things. Jerry Jones also was asked if there's any concerns about the actual issues that Jim Irsay brought up, the finances, the number of limited partners in this Commanders ownership group, and the guidelines that were followed or not followed but right. Jerry Jones responded with, quote, not if it's structured right, which it will be. It just isn't yet. End quote. So again, it is like Jim Irsay said. It hasn't been. It's still some things that need to be worked out. Irsay believes it's too much to overcome. Jerry Jones like, trust me, it'll get worked out. It's done, guys. Jerry Jones. It's just a matter of when, and it's not right now. It's going to be in a little bit, a month or two. Who knows? In the next meeting. So once everything goes through the right process. And anyways, that's on that side of things. We've got other stuff that came through that I think was very important from this meeting, like the NFL draft and where is it going to be held in 2025? It's going to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Lovely Green Bay. Green Bay is expected, again, it's
lucky then.
They've been announced as the host of the 2025 NFL draft. Vote came in, it passed. Green Bay is, the only location in the running, which is crazy, right? The Packers in the city of Green Bay have been trying to make this happen for the draft for a bunch of years, guys, and
honestly, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the earliest teams in the NFL. They put this bid back in 2016. When they started to allow teams to kind of host drafts. I think it was the beginnings of that.
Basically, when they first started taking bids, they basically were one of the first ones to put it in.
Yeah, we got it out there in 2018, right? So in Dallas, actually, we were there for that draft. But the point is, they put a bid in 2016 to host a draft, and they did it also in 2019. Now they officially have it secured in 2025. All right, one of the earlier teams in the NFL. Now, what about Super Bowl 60? God, I can't believe it's already almost there. A couple years away from Super Bowl 60. Super Bowl 60 is going to be held in Santa Clara, California, at Levi Stadium. That's the home of the Niners. Of course, it's going to be February 8th, 2026. So we're still a little bit of ways from that. But they announced it today. They awarded the Super Bowl 60 LX, right, to the Bay Area once again. They're going to Santa Clara for a second time. The next 3 Super Bowls, Super Bowl 58, Las Vegas, Nevada, that brand new stadium. You know, that was good. They did it at AT&T, right? They did it for AT&T.
Yeah.
They're going to do it for
the
Vegas Raiders stadium. Then the New Orleans Saints, well, not the New Orleans, but the next Super Bowl 59, is in New Orleans, Louisiana, the Saints home. And then Super Bowl 60, as we just said, Niners home there, Levi Stadium, Santa Clara, California, Bay Area. There you go. So that's kind of, those things are now settled. The draft in 2025, the 2025 season's Super Bowl, which is in 2026, is in San Francisco. Hopefully the Cowboys dominate both of those, especially that Super Bowl. So again, now a couple rules left, and as we're wrapping this up, and you see it on your maybe on your screens, on your thumbnail, like why did MCF put up this thumbnail with the schedule and with Will Grier? Why is Will Grier in this? What does he have to do with anything right now? Well, today the NFL approved a rule that allows a team to designate a roster spot as an emergency third quarterback on your team.
Not surprising, considering that in this season we had multiple teams down to like fifth string quarterbacks and things like that. So I don't know what happened exactly, but I'm really glad to see this rule implemented.
Remember, this came from the Niners. Like McCaffrey had to be a quarterback almost when Purdy got hurt.
And he got hurt while doing that too. So even McCaffrey couldn't even.
Other guys, there was like 2 quarterbacks. They got hurt, and then there was no other guy. Nobody left because they couldn't keep. They didn't have enough roster spots. So that was one of those The Niners faced that challenge in the NFC Conference Championship against the Eagles. But let's go through the important rules about this, because it's not just you can just keep a guy on there. And again, the player has to be on the 53-man roster. Cannot be a practice squad call-up. Okay. So you still have to use that roster spot on Will Grier, on that third quarterback, which means, to me, he should, unless, as a quarterback on our team, a 4th or 5th guy that can bypass him, whoever gets that third quarterback spot gets an easy, cushy little roster spot on that 53.
Look, it's not a bad insurance.
No, for sure. I agree. But again, you got to be on the 53. You can't play the game of moving him up and then tucking him, onto the, on the active list there for the game. A player can only be, and that's another thing too, guys, this player, that third quarterback, can only play if the top 2 quarterbacks in that game were injured. They playing like shit, you bench them, too bad. You cannot put that emergency quarterback in. Dak's playing crap. Let's say Dak gets injured. Cooper Rush playing like crap. Dak can't come back in. He's out for the game, whatever. Knock on wood, it won't happen. And now Will Grier's there as the third quarterback. Cooper Rush got to get injured. Or else Will Grier can never come into the game.
It's very simply, in case of emergency, break glass.
Right, and you get a quarterback. Will Grier got to be always ready. Right now, he's that guy in that spot. If 2 active quarterbacks are injured or disqualified, I mean, I guess Cooper Rush could throw the helmet at the ref, get thrown out, and that's the way of getting your third guy in there. But unless they're disqualified or injured, both one quarterback and second quarterback unable to participate for those reasons, quarterback 3 can then be activated into the game. Again, most of the time you'd see Will Grier as the inactive or on the practice squad. Now you'll see him on the 53 and always active as that emergency quarterback. Always. So again, the Cowboys don't have, they can you can just go with 2 quarterbacks, but then you can't bitch about it if your other 2 guys get hurt. I mean, you had that option to help you. Now, the details basically, guys, again, the quarterback 3 is a roster exemption for game day. That's really what it comes down to. The only way they can play is if the quarterbacks in front of him, the starter and the backup, are injured or disqualified, thrown out of the game. Will Grier must love this because it keeps his, or the third quarterback, whoever that's going to be. Right now it's Will Grier. Because all he has to do is make the 53. He's pretty much going to be on this team for the whole year as our third string emergency break in case of emergency quarterback. So that's one of the new rules. Any thoughts on that? Maybe as far as that, again,
like I said,
good
it makes
idea,
sense. I like it. I'm a fan.
Perfect. All right, I'm with you. I actually like this. Don't think it even hurts in any way. It's nothing really bad here. Just the way you utilize, you strategize using that roster spot.
And if you are watching this after the video premiere, let us know down in the comments section. What are your thoughts specifically on this quarterback rule? Since I think this one will have a more Cowboy direct effect, especially since we would have to use a roster spot, and we did have Dak get hurt last season, so it's not like it isn't relevant.
And also, remember, not just on the comments below. I want you guys to comment on what we talked about so far, and all the rules. What do you guys think about these rules and how it affects the Cowboys and the chat right now? In the chat, make sure you guys post, because I'll be in there. The wife may be in there. We'll be in there responding and talking. Let me fix that. There you go. We'll be in there responding and talking with you guys, and about what we're talking about now, right now. It's a weird dimension we're in. So the last thing we're discussing here, guys, to wrap it up here, the last rule change, which is directly going to be affecting the Dallas Cowboys, is the flexing for Thursday Night Football. It did pass, which was, people were kind of like that was a on the fence kind of deal. It was 24 votes for it and 8 votes against it. The NFL has approved this flex scheduling for Thursday Night Football, with teams getting 28 days notice now. And it's only in effect for weeks 13, 14, 15, 16, and week 17. You see what I'm saying here, guys? That starts with us. Week 13 is us, the Seattle Seahawks and the Cowboys. So, again, now, let me just explain this real quick. The 28 days, that heads up for the change on the schedule is now 28 days. It used to be 15 days in the old version, so it's nearly doubled. That one that had 15-day notification, that failed in the March meeting. That's why they didn't know if 28 was going to be enough.
I don't think that's enough notice, and at least in this way, you do get more of a mid-season update, so to speak, because that 28-day notice, when you look at week 13, you go back, that basically brings you to exactly. So that's not bad. I still am not a big fan, but I'll let you keep touching on.
There's a couple other things here you got to remember. These rules, Thursday Night Football, you only allowed 2 flexes all season long.
Okay.
They must be done within 28 days with advance notice, of course. Teams cannot play 2 away Thursday night games in a season. So these little rules are important to note. And we're in this game here, we're at home against the Seattle Seahawks.
Which means that we still can qualify for a flex.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we have one more Thursday night spot available.
Well, technically, what about that Thanksgiving game? Is that at home?
No. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's the Thursday night games. That's Thursday.
True.
That's a Fox CBS game. I can't see it right now.
Okay.
Some small writing there, but the point is, the Thursday night. Here's what matters. Forget about anything before week 13. Doesn't matter. Take it out of your head. Week 13 to week 18, or I guess week 17. I'm sorry. You have the games that are subject to change being taken out of the Thursday night game and into a different slot, a Sunday, or being a game that's out there replacing one of these games. So, week 13 is the first time it could happen. That's Seattle Seahawks at the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, directly impacting the Cowboys, possibly. That could be subject to change. If you're thinking of going to this game, it might be on a Sunday.
Keep that in mind.
It might be on a Saturday, guys. So it might not be set in stone as a Thursday night game on that week 13 game. Of course, week 14 is New England at Pittsburgh. Week 15, Chargers at the Vegas Raiders. Week 16, New Orleans Saints at the Rams. And week 17, the Jets at the Cleveland Browns. These are the games that are endangered to be taken off, Prime, Amazon Prime Network, streaming, whatever it is, to get put onto maybe a better game. I mean, a lot of people want to get out of this slot, to be honest with you. The Cowboys games, week 14, 15, 16, and 17, you see them on your screen. Any of these games get pushed to Thursday night, which would be a downgrade to some extent. Can you see them moving the Sunday Night Football on NBC against the Eagles to Thursday night? Hells to the no. How about the Buffalo Bills? At Buffalo. There's no way they're going to give that up. Fox ain't giving that up. Dallas Cowboys at the Miami Dolphins. I mean, who knows? Lions on ESPN on a Saturday? That ain't happening. So the best chance, any game that could be put onto a Thursday night, I would say it would be the Miami game at Miami at most. So I don't think the Cowboys are going to get any added Thursday night games. As far as being taken away, yes, we could get that Seattle, the Cowboys at Seattle at Dallas game. That could be moved to a Sunday game, possibly, or a Saturday game. So
I feel like those are the only realistic moves as of now. Of course, we don't know what could happen during the season to maybe change some of that, which is exactly their intention, I imagine.
No, I mean, and the 28-day change. That's the thing that kills me the most. In my mind, that's the biggest issue. A lot of fans are going to have their plans, tickets, weekend plans to go on a Thursday for a game, and all of a sudden I got to wait for the Sunday, and they got to make plans and change everything.
Yeah, they're not really prioritizing the in-person fan experience with anything here.
It seems like that, right?
This is a big FU to that.
Well,
if anything,
again, it could be a lot of people's plans could be wrecked. All right, again, traveling, tickets, arrangements, hotel, etc., 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 etc. Awful for the fans, in my opinion. But baby, I know that there's a quote here by the man who runs this show here, NFL executive. He's the EVP and the COO of NFL media with this Thursday Night Football flex approval. Again, I want to make sure you could schedule a trip to a game like the Seattle Seahawks game there, right? Mm-hmm. What is that? The 28th is that? I can't even see it. No, it's not the 28th. Oh, I can't even see it.
Yeah, I think it is the 28th.
Is it?
29th?
I can't see it. But either way, we know at that Seattle game, let's say you planned a trip to Dallas for this game, and then you find out you booked your travel, and you were supposed to leave on Saturday. Now the game is 3 days earlier than you expected, if it's a Sunday game, or 3 days later than you expected. So what can NFL executive Hans Schroeder, he was asked this question, what would you tell fans who are considering traveling to a Thursday night or Sunday game during the week? So again, it could affect your game on Sunday. Remember, you go for a Sunday game and all of a sudden it's moved on Thursday.
So basically, what if you want to go to one of these games that could possibly be flexed? So
13, 14, 15, 16, or 17.
So this is what Hans Schroeder had to say. Yeah, look, we're incredibly focused on our fans in stadium. We're focused on our fans watching games on television everywhere else. If you look what we've done starting with Sunday Night Flex, we now have games this year that will be on Monday Night Flex, which is another element of that. We have games that we've played on late night Saturdays, which we've listed as to be determined, which could go Saturday or Sunday. We have Week 18 games where all games are listed as to be determined, and they could go at any time, Saturday afternoon or Sunday. We have wild card, divisional, and playoff games. They could get scheduled on short notice. So I don't want fans to think we aren't going to be sensitive to that, and we won't do our best to communicate thoroughly and as early as we can. We're appreciative of that, but we're also trying to balance how we can make sure, on the other side, that we're getting the right games into the right windows. And that's something we're always going to weigh heavily and take into decisions anytime we flex very seriously. So from a fan perspective, watch, keep your eyes out, know there are more and more games, particularly later in the year, that they have a potential to move. And by the way, we also move a lot of games from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 4 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Particularly as you get later into the year, there are games that move around our schedule and our windows. So just be very vigilant, look out, and we'll do our best to make sure we're over-communicating that as well.
So basically he's saying,
that's a very
keep your eyes
way
open.
Of saying
he's like,
F
hey,
you.
Yeah, he's like, hey fans, you guys, it's on you guys to figure it out. Keep your eyes open and make the proper plans if you're going to go to any of those games, week 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17. And by the way, may I add, that when they released the schedule release a couple weeks ago, they were pushing people to a month ago or so. They were pushing people, saying, "Come on, get your tickets as fast as you can." And then they pull this crap. NFL, they feel like they cannot alienate their fans. They're just going for that green baby, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're basically guaranteeing that if you do want to see your team or a game
in those weeks,
you're gonna have to do it. More or less in the first 8 weeks of the season or so, if you want to 100% guarantee as much as you can that game is actually going to happen when it's supposed to. Yeah. That's the best I can do.
So it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know if that's a great thing there, but it is what the NFL agreed
just because, one of the few games that we might have been able to go to was going to be one of those flex games, and now that it is a flex game, with our situation and our schedule, we have very strict times and dates. So if we can't 100% guarantee we're going to be there, we can't even take the risk of trying to go. That's crazy. That's unfortunate. Yep. And I know we're not the only fans, but like I said, they're obviously prioritizing the at-home fan experience, which I can understand, especially as more people watch from home.
Yep. And that's the way it's going to go, I think, going forward, with the fan bases and the NFL. Again, they're gonna do whatever they can to push limits whatever the reasons they have. But I don't know if I don't like this at all for the fans, and I'm with you on that. I back everything you say there. I mean, it's just the at-home experience is becoming the
priority.
The more priority, yeah, the priority. And it seems like the NFL is going that way too, because they'd rather you watch it on Prime than worry about coming to the stadium almost in some ways, because they're going to find someone to fill in those. TV. Yeah, they're going to find a way to fill in those seats, one way or the other. Trust me.
2023 season is going to be very interesting.
Yeah. So on that note, though, baby, all good things must come to an end here, and tonight's show is over as we discussed a lot of NFL stuff, a lot of Cowboy integrated stuff, and of course OTAs kicking off today, tomorrow on Tuesday. They'll be on the field, and we may see something coming from that. So I'm looking forward to that. Excited.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, excited to what's coming with the Cowboys here in the next 4 weeks of this Phase 3 of OTAs. Guys, we're done here on My Cowboys Family. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Appreciate everybody in the house. Much love to the sponsor of the week, Mr. David S.
Thank you so much. And not just the sponsor of the week, the Cash App King.
Boom.
Thank you as
Appreciate
well,
him.
David S. Marco Seppian bossing that stream around still.
Yeah, currently at 90 points. We don't know. Anything can happen, I guess, during the stream. It is a premiere. It could be affected. Much love to Mark. 90 points as of this stream. Tomorrow we'll fix it if there's anything needed to be fixed.
That's why you got to join us tomorrow for the live.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us tonight on My Cowboys Family. Make sure to catch us tomorrow for our regular live stream. And as always,
Go Cowboys!